we went to the Kanban setup. We went through the Kanban setup, and then we were just trying to identify what are the different configurations and master data that we need to maintain. So right now, what we are going to do is we will be going to see the control cycle setup, and then we will release the control cycle, and then we'll see in the Kanban board whether we can see and empty the containers and create a goods movement, which in turn will create a delivery in EWM. Let's just first go inside the control cycles. Okay, so we had created this Kanban 06. Now the control cycle, the storage location that I had put in 171S. Now, what we need to understand is that the production supply area is also created within the same storage location. Okay, so if we open up the production supply area storage type, which has been created, so let me quickly show you that. So it is Y061, and over here, so there is no availability group which is mapped to this. But ideally, if we are registering a particular storage type for production supply area, what we should also do, we should also set up the storage location against it. Okay, so to assign the storage location, what we need to do, we need to assign an availability group over here, because in EWM, as I mentioned, we are not directly using the storage location. So what we will do is we can see that there's no availability group mapped within the production supply area. That means any stock type in EWM can be pushed inside this particular storage type, Y061. And within Y061, if we see, all the production supply storage bins have been also created. So if we go inside the bin master and we push in Y061, then we see these 3 storage bins which have been created for the production supply area. Okay, so these storage bins in turn are mapped against production supply areas where in the PSA stage transaction. So if we go to PSA stage, so you will find that these bins are assigned against these production supply areas. Okay, so now, so all these 3 bins are mapped to the same production supply area, PSA-Y001. Now, also from a storage bin perspective, if we open the storage bin over here, in the bin display transaction, the standard bin display transaction, so there is a tab called PSA, which is production supply area. So if you click over here, so you would see the PSA which is assigned over here is this one. Okay, this again is coming from the PSA stage transaction. So if I remove this entry, it will automatically go away. Okay, so what we need to ensure is that when we are creating the Kanban production supply area, so the source location should be not the same as the destination location. Otherwise, there will be no S-log to S-log movement, which will be triggered. Now, from an EWM perspective, let us see. There are, I think, 2 storage locations which are currently mapped from the plant 1710 as an EWM managed storage location. So if we go inside this, and the warehouse number is also the same. So we've got 2 storage locations, 171D and 171S. Now these 2 storage locations are the EWM managed storage locations. So what we will do is we will now see what is the source and destination mapping that we can do. Now in order to do that, so 171D and 171S, let me quickly check one thing. So the availability group is 001 and 002. So with what we can check is what is the available stock within 171D, because when we are moving that stock from a particular location to another, then it should be from a particular from one S log to the other, and the stock should already be available in 171D. Only then there we can trigger any movements in EWM as well. So to check that first, what we will do is we will go inside PCAT and we will push in the availability group. So the availability group that we need to check is 001. And within 001, we can see F1 is one unrestricted stock type that we can use. Now for F1, if we can check the available stock for that particular product. So we have 1710. Sorry, I have to now add a couple of more filters. So I will push in stock type and I will also use product. Okay, so the storage type would be, let it be, so the product I will push in. It is EWS4-503. And then the stock type would be F1. Okay, so currently we don't have any stock in the stock type within the stock type F1. So what we can do a posting change. So that is also something I'll quickly show you. So we go to the transaction/n/SCW/post. Okay. We do have a couple of products which is under the stock type F1, but this is currently in the GR zone, the goods receipt zone. So that means it is attached to a particular document. Okay. So, but what we can do is that we can do a posting change from one particular storage bin to the other, and we can also change the stock type. What we can also do is in terms of the location, because what it's saying is that the same location should not be mapped within a Kanban. The source and the destination locations should be different. So either we do like this or we create a new S-log. So what we will do, we'll try it through this first, and if it doesn't work, then we will maintain a new S-log within ECC, and then we'll make the transfer and we'll assign that particular S-log as a source S-log within the Kanban within the Kanban production supply area that we have created. So over here, I can see that these are the two handling units which are currently under the GR zone. So let it be here. So that is fine. So what I will do is okay. So I'll just we'll just save this. So we have now the source location, which is different. Now what we'll do is we will also now quickly go back to the control cycles transaction. Now, one of the most important thing is that we need to understand that when we are using EWM managed, when we are defining EWM managed control cycles, at that point in time, the destination bin can be also maintained within the control cycle. So now, why it is different and how it is important is because in the normal control cycles, you are not maintaining the destination bin. If it's not EWM managed integrated cycle, then you will not be maintaining the destination bin. Okay, so over here, since it is EWM managed, so therefore we have the opportunity. The system does an RFC call, and it brings in all the storage bins for you to see what can be maintained and what cannot be maintained. Okay, so you can select your own storage bins which are assigned to a production supply area, or you can assign any particular other destination storage bin as well, based on what the warehouse layout and the setup. Okay, so that is something which can be configured, and it is not something which is compulsory from a like best practice perspective. It is depending on the layout of the warehouse. So if we go inside the control cycle transaction now, so we will now click on edit and then create a new control cycle. Now over here, the material that we will use is one of the components, okay, and the supply area will be 7, and we will first put it in preparation. Let's see. In the meanwhile, since I have created a new production supply area, so what I will do is I will also run the PSA replicate transaction. Okay, so plant 1710. Okay, so let me just perfect. So the production supply area is created. Okay, it has been created.
Here you have created three supply areas.
Mhm.
So do we have three separate work centers? Or we can use one work center for all the three supply areas.
So, say for example, you have a production line where you will be, the production supply areas will be somewhere just adjacent to the production lines, right? Where you'll be staging the products. So, if it is just one line and the layout is like that, that it has multiple products, like sometimes what happens as per different industries, you are grouping different kinds of components in one particular staging area. So that way it will be only assigned to one work center. But if you have multiple work centers or production lines, and you have got different production supply areas, so the assignment needs to be done according like that. Okay. So it all depends on the layout of the warehouse, how and the manufacturing. Sorry, not only the warehouse, the manufacturing part, how the staging areas are being set against the production lines.
Okay. It's not a 1:1 ratio. We can use one to multiple supply areas.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So once this is done, so what we will do now is we will also create a storage bin so that we can assign that to our production supply area that we have just created. So we will just, so this is one bin, right? And this is the PSA which is assigned. So let us see what is so there is a storage section and a storage type is mandatory. So storage section that is being used is YS00. Okay. Okay, so that is done. Is there a bin type mapping? No, there's no bin type mapping over here. We'll just create this first, and then we'll maintain PAC stage for this. Fine, let it be like this as of now. I will not change any of these things. Okay. So we go now and create, so we were inside this. So we'll put the destination bin as something which is different. Let me create this first. Okay, so this is the new control cycle. Control cycle number is 13. So let's see if I can directly change it. So just showing me a consistency error. The PP guys, are you aware like why this error comes in, the consistency error, when I'm trying to release the control cycle? Hello? Okay, so I think one major thing that I have missed is maintaining the Kanban containers. So without this, it will not actually allow me to release it. So let me see whether this time I can be able to release it or not. Yes, I can release it now. Okay, let me push in the Kanban bin that we have created. Save it. Perfect. Save it. Okay, so what we have done is that we have created a control cycle. So within the control cycle, the production supply area would pop up under which we are creating this, which is Kanban 07. And then within the destination bin, you can see if I go inside, so it will show me all the storage bins. So I haven't selected the storage bin which we have just created, which is for Kanban, under the same under the new production supply area, and but the storage type remains the same. Okay. Now, if the warehouse has got a requirement and a storage type layout which is different, then we can use that accordingly. We can set it up accordingly. So all this information will be coming in from the super users from the production side, from the PP side. So they will be letting us know which are the areas or which are the bins that need to be configured in the system, and accordingly it will be mapped. Okay. So obviously, when you are creating a control cycle, it will not be going through this kind of a status release in within a few microseconds. There will be some time which will be consumed in order to create this and release it. But once it is done, then we should be able to see it within the Kanban board as well. Okay, so the Kanban board, to access and see the Kanban board, we need to run a transaction within GUI. So that's called PK13N. So let me just quickly open that transaction now. So our objective over here is to make sure that once we have, so I have already done this, I will move out, otherwise it will show a lock on this PK13N. So our objective is that once we have selected this, then the Kanban board should come up, and then we should be able to create a movement from here. Okay. So as you can see, we have so many containers: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now you can see these 9 containers based on the control cycle configuration that we had done just before this, right? So if you remember, within that, sorry, we had created, we had maintained within the Kanban containers, we have maintained the number of containers which can be maintained within that. Okay, so if I'll take you across again to the same transaction, PKMC. So we scroll down and we can see the number of containers are 9. This is what I had maintained. And the container quantity is 24 pieces, which is like half a pallet for this particular material. So that is what is showing in the Kanban board as well, if you see over here. Okay. So the next step now is, in order to do the replenishment, or in order to trigger the movement, so what we need to do, we need to use these containers from the board and see whether it will trigger any movement or not. Okay. So now if we select this, okay, and we click on to empty. Okay, so let's see what happens. Kanban container is locked. So there is an error log which is saying that the Kanban container is locked and it cannot be released. Okay, so let us check what we can do to remove this error. Right, so let us go inside. So it's not allowing us to do this as well. Neither it is allowing us to create the movement. Now going back to the Kanban board. Okay, let's see what happens. Something is happening. The system is a bit slow. Okay, so it is saying that one Kanban container is processed, right? So, which means I think that we have been able to do the triggering of the movement which we were looking for, right? So, superb. So, if you see, there is an outbound delivery which has got generated over here. So, once you click on to empty, so there is an outbound delivery which has got generated, and this outbound delivery will in turn should be distributed to EWM. So let's check it out. What has happened? Yes, the delivery was distributed. These setups actually are not that easy. So I need to create a detailed document for you guys so that you guys can follow and practice it. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Okay, so this delivery has been um, released. But just a quick question. So now, where do we see this delivery in EWM?
Ganesh, that PMR,
No, we have not created any manufacturing order, right? If you remember, we did not create any manufacturing order. In EWM, which transaction will I use to see this document?
PRDO.
PRDO? Yes. Okay, let's go there. Since it's an outbound delivery. First of all, since I have put in the parameter, it is stuck in the queue. So it will not be anywhere, right? So I will just release that. So no document type found for delivery type DOG. So this is the, so let me just check the full status message. Okay.
Hey, you know, ZaranTech now offers SAP corporate training. That's right. Train your workforce in SAP with our comprehensive program. We offer customized courses, certified trainers, and hands-on labs for both individuals and businesses. Our standout features: bespoke training, fully configured servers for practice, in-house materials, and a dedicated LMS. Plus, get session recordings and 24/7 support. From functional to technical modules, we have got it all. Choose ZaranTech for SAP training and watch your team excel. Learn, upskill, succeed with ZaranTech.
So this is what has happened. So there are no document types which are found for delivery type DOG, because of which there's an error. So it's the queue is not getting processed. Okay. So what we will do, we'll maintain it. Okay, so I maintained the item type as well. So document type, item type has been maintained. Okay, so there was an assert condition violation. That means we've got a dump. What happened? Okay, so it has given us a dump in the saving part. So let us try to reset it and check once. Okay, so what I will do, I'll try to make a change. Yeah, it is. Okay, so it's simply giving us a dump. So just to let you guys know, I will try to see if I can set this up. This is giving us an error on my user ID in a save when we are trying to do the saving. So it should not be like this. So I need to check in the system. I need to check the dump why exactly it is giving us this error. So basically, what happens is that whenever we are creating this movement through the Kanban board, there is a outbound delivery which is generated, which in turn will become a posting change document in EWM. So against this posting change document, we have to generate a warehouse task, which will be basically the warehouse task for the operator to move the items to the destination bin. So once this posting change document gets lands up in EWM, then we will be able to create the warehouse task against this posting change document through the production supply area. So this is how the cycle is completed. Okay. So, and the movement type, if you see the delivery in ECC or in S4, sorry. So if I just open the delivery in S4, so the movement type is 411 based on the configuration that we had set. Okay. But right now it is giving us a dump after dump because it is not being able to save it. One good thing is that our setup from a Kanban perspective is ready. We have been able to trigger the outbound delivery, but the outbound delivery is not landing in EWM right now. It will be a posting change document. So it will not be in the PRD or transaction. It will be in this transaction, IM underscore PC. So you can note this transaction down. So this is the transaction which we will use to check out this delivery. IM underscore PC, maintain posting change. Okay, so this is the within this transaction, we can execute the warehouse task. So within follow-on function, we can create the warehouse task for this particular document. So it's still giving us the same error. So I need to properly put a breakpoint over there and debug. So I will get this thing corrected. Don't worry, guys. But the end result is that only. So what we will do once this particular delivery lands, in IM_PC transaction, we need to push this ECC delivery number, execute it, and once it is done, we will just go to warehouse task and create the warehouse task for the operator or for the resource to move the materials from this particular area to the destination bin, which we have provided in the control cycle. So in the control cycle, if you guys remember, we have provided the details, which particular destination bin it needs to be moved into. So that is where exactly we will move it. Yeah. So once that is done, there will be a queue which will be triggered from the EWM system to do the material document posting for 411 in ECC, and the delivery will be closed. Okay, so this is how the cycle will be completed. Okay, so we have completed 80% of the Kanban setup.
No, not only, but we need to test one scenario in the system. We need to.
Yes, but are you guys
Setup.
using, Kanban in your client location right now?
No. This is the first time.
Okay. And what happened to the setup that you guys were doing? Is it complete now in the system?
No. EWM part is still pending. We have time, so we will set up.
Oh, okay, fine. So during the setup, if you guys face any issues, just let me know in session. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we will move ahead now. So what exactly do you guys know about just in time? Let us try to understand that first.
No idea, Nanya, about just in time.
But you might have heard at least, right? Definitely suna to hoga this term.
Just in time as a phrase?
Yes. So what is that?
Just in time, like, you are able to make up for something at just the precise moment. Let's say I was able to just finish this just in time. Like, let's say I had to finish something by 1. So before it could be 1:15, I was able to finish that off.
Yes, you're there. But from a production perspective, can you guys think what can be just in time? So there are two parts of my question. First question is what is just in time from manufacturing perspective? With examples. Number two, what is the difference between just in time and just in sequence? So there are two things, just in time and just in sequence. Now, what is the difference between both these two things? So the first question is, what is just in time with reference to production or manufacturing?
Can we say like from production point of view, backward scheduling?
So what happens in companies where the manufacturing is completely automated, so they will not like to keep things in the production supply area line for a long amount of time because of lack of space, number one, and also from process optimization perspective. Okay, so the space near the production line is very, very important. So they want to make sure that they are cluttering as much as less components and products or pallets or cartons and boxes as possible, and only whatever is required for specific orders, only those components are there at that point in time when it is required. That means, for example, I'm just giving a very wild example, okay guys? Say for example, if I want to manufacture an automobile vehicle, so I need 4 wheels minimum. Nowadays companies are not even giving the spare tires, right? Some of them are giving, some of them are not giving. They're just giving a tire repair kit. So just for 4 tires, I'll make sure that only 4 tires are there near the production line and not a whole bunch of tires lying next to the production line. Okay. But we need to ensure that when the manufacturing order starts, when the production execution process starts, the components are there. It should not be that the execution process is about to start and the product and the warehouse operator is still bringing in the components. It should not be like that. That is not the concept of just in time. Okay. Now the difference between just in time and just in sequence. The major difference is that just in time and just in sequence, just in time does not require your parts to be provided in a particular sequence. Okay. So if there are, suppose, 6 components, 7 components, it can be picked and delivered to the production line at the same point in time. There is no problem about that. But if the components and the parts, if you are using just in sequence, and there is a particular sequence, that means when I'm assembling a car, so the first thing will be the chassis. So within the chassis, I will start putting in the shaft components, and then I'll start putting in the engine components, and then I'll put in the body, and then the tires, and blah blah blah. It will go in a particular sequence. It cannot be that it will go just randomly. Something will come in, and I will just choose anything out of it. No, it cannot be like that. So that is what is just in sequence. It has to be as per the particular sequence which is maintained, and that is the way it will be assembled next to the production line. Okay. To give you guys a little bit of an idea, we'll not go through the whole video. Let's quickly, just for your own reference, and I would always recommend in the era we are lucky that we have YouTube and Google. Okay, try to check out as much of manufacturing videos as possible on YouTube. Okay, you will be definitely getting a lot of idea. Talk about AGVs, you talk about drones, how they are getting picked using SAP EWM, all these things you will get an idea. Okay, obviously the physical experience is a different thing, but all of us sometimes are not lucky enough to be getting that opportunity at the same point in time. Everyone will get that opportunity in different stages of your career, but all of us will not get it at the same. In all of us that we have assembled over here, all of you will not have the same EWM experience, right? Or the same manufacturing. Even you got the experience in manufacturing, maybe you have not seen so much of plants physically. So, from that experience perspective, I always recommend, please do watch YouTube videos which is related to manufacturing, which is related to warehousing. You will get a very good idea. Okay, so let me quickly show you one video. I had just recently come across that video and I was really impressed. I was not aware that they are so automated. So that's why I wanted to quickly share this. We'll not go through the entire video, just to give you guys an idea what is happening. But just try to see the video. So this is you guys have heard about Tesla, right? I'm sure. The electric car manufacturing company of Elon Musk. You guys have heard about it? Tesla?
Yes.
Okay. So Tesla is one of the world's highest selling electric car manufacturers. Okay, so they have a fully automated manufacturing. So all the manufacturing plants. So there's one manufacturing plant in Shanghai. There's one manufacturing plant in Germany, in Berlin. Then they've got a couple of plants in North America, I think. So this is a tour of their Berlin plant. It's not giving you. So what I wanted to show you actually is a completely different. I think it is this video, if I'm not wrong. Let me see. So just see the way they're assembling. So extremely sorry, this is an ad. So skip. So since this is an electric car manufacturer, so they will not be definitely having engines. So you can see, yeah, so it's California, Shanghai, Berlin, and Texas. So they've got 4 or 5 models of vehicles. Model Y, Model 3 like this. And this is their manufacturing plant. So how they are assembling the vehicles. Okay. So you can see the step-by-step production process is being shown over here. This is the first step. So you see next is cut sheet metal panels are transported to the stamping line where body panels are formed for assembly. So what is the unique thing that you see over here in this entire process, guys?
No manual intervention. It's all being done by robots.
Exactly. Exactly. And this is not an animated video. This is an actual video. Now, apart from a technology perspective, now since we're talking about just in time, just in sequence, so you can see that for all these parts, the different, maybe the screws, the panels, the blades, the sheets, it has to follow a particular sequence, right? So that is what is just in sequence. It cannot be just random key. First, I'll put in the sheet later on after a fifth stage, I'll put in the screws. It cannot be like that, right? So it has to follow a particular sequence, and that is what is just in time and just in sequence. Finally, I see a couple of human resources, and that is also at the quality control stage. So nothing related to, so this is for model S. You can, so this is a variant, type of car. So you can check it out on Google later on. It's a very good looking car. It's a sedan, model S, and the doors go up like a, like a sports car. It literally goes up. It doesn't open like this. So, we won't be going through the entire video. If you guys are interested, I'll share the link on our chat over here. You guys can go through it later on. But this is what is actually just in time. Just in time and just in sequence, right? So now these are different stages of production that it is going through, and this is the actual production process. But the initial part where the sheets were delivered near to the production line from where the robotic arms had picked it up. So that is actually the production supply area. Okay. And from there, it will be pushed inside the production line. So we want to make sure that there's minimal components lying there and only the components which are required to manufacture one automobile vehicle. So that will be used or kept inside the production supply area. So just a quick trivia question, guys. Are you guys aware that recently there was a rocket which landed correctly back into Earth's orbit, and it was caught by forced kind of hands, which was also something from SpaceX, which is another company related to Tesla. Are you guys aware about that? Also, there are certain things there is a robot which is being currently developed by Tesla. It's called Optimus. If you guys have seen those Transformer movies, there is a robot which is currently developed. It's called Optimus. So that robot will be replacing, the first target is warehouses. So it is linked to our work somehow. So the robots will be replacing the human laborers. They can lift weights up to 75 kilograms. They can run when just half a day's charge. They can run for 3 days without any coffee breaks, tea breaks, lunch breaks, gossip breaks, nothing. Okay. Just check it out. Check out these news. So because very soon, I'm sure in the next 5 years, we will be working in integration projects where we are integrating Optimus with EWM. I'm sure. I'm 100% sure about it. Okay. So maybe you guys will also get an opportunity to work on those kind of projects. So keep yourselves up to date with all these things. And who knows, in the future, we might also be replaced by robots like this. That day is also not too far off, but yes, it is coming. Okay, so let us now try to understand the just-in-time and just-in-sequence. Try to also keep yourselves updated about all these things, guys. It's just not SAP, remember. Okay, so SAP is important. It is, but you should also know about the external things that is happening in and around the manufacturing, the warehousing industry, so that your skill levels are also updated, or you can update your skill levels accordingly. Now, from a just-in-time perspective, we have a control cycle which we define first. So let me just quickly let this be here. Later on, I'll remove it. So we have a JIT control cycle. Okay. Then within the control cycle, we'll have the production supply area, the destination bin, something similar to what we saw when we created the control cycle for the Kanban system, right? And then we have the plant, warehouse, and the product and the quantity. Okay. Then once we do that, the next step is JIT call creation. Okay. Now these two things are happening where? These two things are happening in ECC/S4. So once the call creation happens, the call creation goes into EWM. Remember this feature of just-in-time just in sequence, is available as of now in the embedded EWM environment, not in the decentralized environment, in the embedded EWM environment since 2020, since the FSP release of 2020, S4 HANA for EWM. It is available in the embedded space. Since you guys are working in a project where you guys are, the environment is an embedded EWM, so this information is crucial for you. Okay, so the JIT call, which gets created in ECC or S4, then gets transferred into EWM. Call creation lands in EWM. So it will have the document type, the item type, mapping, and all those things. And based on that, the JIT call creation will be created. Now, based on this, if we are using Wave, so there is a concept in EWM outbound picking where it is called Wave. So Wave is basically combining orders of picks based on multiple different criterias or categories like customers, like routes. And we do that advanced picking, as I had told you, for large warehouses, we need to plan our shipments well in advance for the next day and all those things. Based on routes, based on customers, based on categories of products. So different filter criteria might be there based on which we are creating and releasing waves. So these waves basically we are releasing as which will create the warehouse task in advance, and the operators will pick the items and they will put it in the staging areas. So that is the whole reason, if you see in a nutshell, why do we need waves? So if wave is required, now the wave creation with from a just-in-time perspective is optional. It is not something that it is mandatory. Okay, so I will push it in like that as well. So there's a standard SAP diagram. I will share it with you. Okay, so which has all these processes. So wave creation is there, and then we have, once the waves are created, then the wave release is also there, and then we have warehouse task and warehouse order creation. Okay, based on the warehouse task and the warehouse order creation, then the actual picking will happen, and then the materials will be supplied to the PSA. Okay, so this wave creation EWM, wave release is EWM, warehouse task and warehouse order creation is EWM. This is physical, so this is the system perspective is not applicable. Supply to PSA, this is also physical activity. The supply to PSA is not applicable. So once the picking happens, so once this happens, so what will happen is that, let me just quickly use. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is, once the picking is completed, that means the operator confirms the warehouse task at this time. WT. So at that point in time, it gets updated back into ECC where this JIT was created. JIT call was created. Okay, this step. So once the picking is confirmed, it will go and update the JIT call creation. Now there are Fiori applications that need to be used when we are using just-in-time in S4 HANA. And this to use this Fiori applications, we need to ensure that there are specific roles which are there, which are assigned to your user ID. So let me quickly check whether those roles are already there. If not there, then those roles need to be assigned. So let me quickly check that.
What sets ZaranTech apart in SAP corporate training? It's our unique blend of expertise and innovation. We offer customized courses tailored to each client's needs, ensuring relevant, targeted learning. Our vast trainer database brings you wisdom from the best in the field. Need resources? Access our extensive training material repository anytime. We are all about measurable results, providing detailed student metrics to track progress. And we don't just teach, we build community. Join our thriving social media network, connecting learners beyond boundaries. With ZaranTech, you are not just training, you are transforming your SAP expertise.
So basically, there are three uh, roles. One is for an operator, one is for a planner, and the other one is for a supervisor. So these three roles should be assigned to the user ID for us to use these applications. Otherwise, we'll be able to see the application, but will not be able to see will not be able to execute it. Okay, so we try to assign this. So this is done. And then we go back into so you need to use the lean manufacturing one. Okay, the next one is supervisor. So what I'm doing is that I'm just going inside and maintaining these roles against my user ID. So this is done. So all the three roles are done. Now we also need to check whether the services because do you guys have any idea how the Fiori applications work from an architectural perspective? Do you guys have any idea?
So
So what happens is that whenever we have a Fiori application, so within the Fiori application, there is a backend service which gets called. Okay. Now this particular service needs to be activated. Within the service, you have got classes and methods. So the whole functioning is being controlled still at the backend side, but there is a service call which happens, and within when you're executing something, suppose you're clicking on create warehouse task. In the backend, there will be a service which will be called, and within the service, the class and methods are assigned. So that is how it works. Okay. So we'll quickly see whether there are a few services which need to be activated in order for us to use the whole functionality. So we need to see whether that has been maintained or not. Let me check out one more thing. This Z role has not yet been created. So what we'll do is that we will now go into the Fiori part. So I'll just first check the service. D/MINT. You can note down this transaction. It's a very complex naming convention, very difficult to remember. It's /n/IWFND. Let it open up. Underscore MAINT, maintain, MAINT maint underscore service. Okay. So this is the transaction. You can note it down. /n/IWFND /MAINT underscore service. So this is the transaction where we can come and check whether a particular service is activated, not activated, what is the status. Okay. So we'll quickly push service name. So API underscore NKIT underscore CCYC. No. So we do not have it. So what we need to understand is that these services need to be added in order for us to run the whole JIT system. So there is a basic configuration set. So I will see if I can configure this basic configuration set. But in the meanwhile, what we will do is we will also use the time to set up the ERP configuration and the EWM configuration for that matter of fact, and then see whether these things can be activated or not. But from an EWM perspective, let me just quickly check whether the GIT part is activated or not. Extended warehouse management, internal warehouse processes, and then within internal warehouse processes, we have delivery processing. In delivery processing, we have got stock transfers, and within stock transfers for just-in-time processing, yes, we have the setup. So GIT, so let's see if there's anything maintained. No, there's nothing maintained, so we have to do this maintenance. We would determine warehouse process type for GIT, and then access sequence for GIT warehouse process type determination. So these are the three config nodes from EWM perspective, which we will do now. And also from an ERP perspective, there are a set of configurations that we need to perform. So we will now jump into the ERP one first. So let me just close this node, open up logistics execution. So within logistics execution, we need to use the just-in-time process. So for the just-in-time processing, there are three: just-in-time outbound, just-in-time inbound, and then there is just-in-time next generation. So for the just-in-time processing next generation, we need to activate the BC set, otherwise it will not show up in the system. Yeah, so it will but that particular node will just come up over here, just below JIT outbound, JIT inbound. There is one more thing that will come as just-in-time processing next generation. Let me also check the Fury. Hopefully it gets activated. Let's see. This is a standard BC set, basic configuration set, that we need to activate. So this is not something that you guys need to do in systems where already the BC set is activated. So from an EWM perspective, there are a lot of BC sets which are provided by SAP as a stock solution, and you can just simply activate those BC sets based on which those additional functionalities will be seen. Yeah, so okay, that's fine. The errors are only related to, there's nothing else that we got. So can you see, guys, this is the one which was not there earlier. Okay, it has come now. Just-in-time processing next generation. So once we have activated the BC set, it is visible now. Just-in-time processing next generation. So this is where we will start off with the configuration. But before that, let me just quickly check the Fury part as well. Okay, the applications need to be installed. I will check with our server team to ensure that these applications are set up for you guys so that you guys can practice using these applications. Okay. In the meanwhile, let us start with the system configuration. So we have activated the BC set in front of you guys, and then from here onwards, we will start doing the configuration. Let us go step by step. So we go into the logistics execution part first. Okay, so let us quickly go inside this. So within this, just-in-time supply to production, and within just-in-time production, supply to production, we will have replenishment strategies. And we have within replenishment strategies, we will have defined stock transfer strategies. So over here, we do not have anything. So, but we will maintain it, the stock transfer strategy. So you can see the objects which are there is the plant, just-in-time stock transfer, the contribution type, the movement type. So we'll be maintaining all these things based on which the system will manage the will be able to create and understand the just-in-time call. Because if you remember in the Excel sheet, what we had mentioned was there will be a just-in-time call creation, and this call creation will be first triggered in ECC, and from ECC it will be there in EWM. Okay. So within the, let me check the EWM monitor also. So within this window, we will be able to see once we create the call. Let's see first. Okay. We'll still not be able to execute the JIT call because the application, we have to still do the setup from a basis perspective. I will provide the list of Fury applications, so that I can show it to you how to use those Fury applications. Those Fury applications currently are not here. Okay, so okay, it is not there. So I definitely need to get it done. But in the meanwhile, let's continue with our config part. So after the action, the supply to production, we go inside action control and go to define JIT, just-in-time actions. We've got all these different actions which are there. So based on the supply to customer and supply to production scenarios. So in our case, it is supply to production, right? So let us see, create GIT call action is there. So there is no interlink action for this. What I will do, I have just changed it from supply to customer to supply to production for this GIT call, creation of GIT call. And then for cancellation also, I will put it to supply to production and then save it. Go inside define GIT, action control. And within this, we have got this 3 different action controls, which is sequence GIT call, summarize GIT call, and supply to customer. So all the 3 ones are supplied from a supply to customer perspective. So if I say, for example, take this one. So these are the different actions which are assigned within this action control. You can see cancellation, modification, all those things. And then we have the execution status is also assigned to it. So also the error statuses. So what we will do is that we will change this from a supply to customer. We will change it to supply to production. Okay. So I will just push this and this. So this action control. Let's save it. Now moving on to the EWM part. Internal warehouse processes. And with internal warehouse processes, we need to be inside the delivery processing part. And within delivery processing part, we need to go inside stock transfers. So this is from a EWM perspective, the setup. Yeah, so we go inside stock transfer for GIT processing, and within this, we'll go inside define document identity determination for GIT processing. This is for the GIT call, which will come in. Okay, so we go inside this. 710. So document type, I'll put it as DOG, DOGN. Okay, so it will not allow me to set this out. It's doing a document type check, but it's not giving me an F4 help. So this is because of the PC set configuration and the mapping, which we have not yet, the configuration we have done, but we have not yet synced it. So therefore, the system is throwing us an error. So what I will do is I'll just open another session. Okay, so this is the reason. No problem. So what we will do is we will go and maintain this. So for the document category WMR, so there is no document type which has been defined. Therefore, the system is throwing us this error. So when we are pushing in this, so it's saying that for WMR, TWP does not exist in this particular table, SCDL type slash SCDL slash TDTYPE, customizing specifying project. See, what it's saying is that the basic configuration set should have come in for all these things. It is not maintained, so therefore it is saying that see IMG documentation. So there is a basic configuration set already for this. Let's check it out.
Our comprehensive student metrics ensure top-notch learning experiences. We track engagement through attendance, participation, and video interactions. Performance is measured via quiz scores and assignment submissions. We monitor learning behaviors, including time spent and revisit patterns. Our metrics cover social learning, course completion rates, and even post-course success. With technical data on platform usage and device information, we optimize every aspect of your learning journey.
One good thing that you guys are seeing in all these, in what I'm doing right now, this is something which you do if you're doing a hardcore implementation, because when you're setting up the client, you'll be activating this BC sets. So this is something from very good from a knowledge perspective that you guys are seeing actually that I'm performing right now. Okay, so there was nothing else that was. So we have quite a few things that have been updated. Okay, and the other one was I'm just checking whether with this, because it's a stock transfer PC set that we have done. I'm just trying to see whether the queue which was stuck earlier, if it can be processed or not with this. Let's see. No, it cannot be processed. Still, I need to debug this. Okay. So let's go back. So then this particular table, sorry, did not have any entries. Type. Perfect. So now it does have entries. Right. So it has got all these entries now coming in. So if I want to create the entries now, system should not throw me an error. So I go back to IMG. Extended Warehouse Management. Turn the warehouse processes. Delivery processing. Stock transfers. Define document types for stock transfer process. So this is done. GIT processing. Oh, come on, we've just had the entries maintained. What happened? Define document types. Stop. What happened? We've just maintained the entries. Why is it showing blank here? So this is the same table, right? Let me just close everything and log in again. The entries have come in, but it is not showing up in the second. Then I've got no choice. I will just simply maintain this entry in the table. So I'll just run this. I'm trying to create an entry in this table where it is checking. So the keys are these three. So I'll just change this key to the warehouse material request. So this for a stock transfer. Okay, so now the entry is there. Yep. So let's see what happens now. So we go back into SING, Extended Warehouse Management, Extended Warehouse Management, internal processes, delivery processing, stock transfers, stock transfer for just-in-time processing, define document type and item type for determination. So the item type determination is not yet done, so it still needs to be done. So let me just again quickly open that table. So that was the type. Document category. So again, I will create another one for this. This is not the way that you guys should be doing, guys. So this is like, I'm just directly inserting it in the table, but this is not the way that it should be done. But I'm just doing it so that we can do the configuration, we can complete the configuration. But this is not something that I would recommend. I will check it out why even after we activated the basic set, it is showing in the at the table level, but it is not showing when we run the config node, because that config node is for the same table that we are updating, but it is not updating that. So it's a bit strange, but I will check it out and I'll let you know why it was happening. So we will be putting the warehouse process type determination over here. So the warehouse process type determination for just in time, we need to do the mapping over here instead of the warehouse process type determination that we have in EWM on the cross process settings. So you saw when we were defining new warehouse process types, we were using that setting instead of but from just in time perspective, for just in call warehouse process type determination, this mapping needs to be done over here. Okay, so from a document type perspective, ER, delivery priority, then any process type determination indicator. So we can set those things up, and then the replenishment strategy. So the process type determination indicator creation, we have to still do it over there. So the replenishment strategy will choose it as JIT action control. This is for the JIT call creation. Okay. So this is where you remember we had done it from, although the description is saying supply to customer, but from under the action profile, we had changed it to supply to production, right? So I'll just push this warehouse process type. I'll push it in as, let's see if we have, done. Okay, so the next steps is to create the PSA and the PSA bin. So for just in time, we'll create another PSA quickly. So we will push in so that we can use it from just in time perspective only. 1710. So we'll create a new PSA. So the production supply area would be PSA or GIT underscore BSA. So after that, the responsible will be 001. That's fine. And then we will save this. So once we save it, we will create it in EWM as well. PSA underscore replicate. Okay, done. Quickly check whether it was created successfully or not. GIT is created. And then for this particular production supply area, I will create 2 bins. Okay, and I'll sort the bins as well. SEWM, SBST. Very important, whenever you are creating a new bin, always remember that the sorting needs to happen. Otherwise, system will not be picking it up for creation of warehouse tasks. Remember that. So done. So I've created 2 new bins, just in time test bin 1, just in time test bin 2, and then we need to assign it as well. So when assigning it, there is no staging methodology that needs to be assigned to it. So I'll just quickly go there. PSA stage. So we will create a new entry. I'll just copy this new entry. And copy it over. I have to otherwise do everything. Yep. So I'll just remove this. Take the new production supply area for just in time. Let the product be same. Storage bin is different. Zero 61. Just in time test bin 1. Okay, so the staging methodology is not relevant for staging. Everything else remains the same. So now, JIT control cycles, we can create and release it. So let me see, because we do not have the application. So it is asking me for the external procurement number. So for this, I will not be able to use the GIT format. Up 107 search. Okay, so what I will do is, guys, because I also need to make sure that the application is there. So I will try to set up the application for you guys, because if we use the application for JIT, it makes our life much more easier. So there are, as I had mentioned to you, there are two major applications. One is for the creation of the control cycles, and then the release for GIT, and then requesting replenishments for the GIT control cycles. So once we execute that, then the GIT call will be created, and which in turn will be transferred to EWM.